most of the restaurant owners that I run into have been sleeping on this new POS. They're still using old school POS systems like Toast or like Spot On or Clover or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with the old school POS systems. Of course, if you have that, it's okay. But what I want to show you today is Tabit POS. You may not have realized that Tabit POS, it's a mobile first solution. It's unlike anything that you've ever seen. So if you've seen a POS demo and you think that's the most boring thing in the world, stick around for just a second, at least long enough for me to show you a couple cool, quick things about Tabit POS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick because I just want to show you some cool features about this Tabit pad and how it's going to improve operations. Now, whatever restaurant you have, Tabit can probably work for it, but it's not for everybody. This is for specifically restaurants doing over $100,000 a month with a large floor plan, lots of tables, lots of servers. It really thrives in the environments where 5, 6, 10 maybe POS stations in your restaurant. You have kitchen display screens or lots of printers in the kitchen. More complicated operations really see an improvement with Tabit for a couple of reasons. Number one, Tabit increases operational efficiency. So there's a lot of things that I'll show you here that talk about how a restaurant runs and why Tabit really improves the efficiency of the way it runs. One of the things it does on the efficiency side is it lowers server mistakes in order entry by about 80%. We've all been there, servers and cooks yelling at each other, going back and forth, pointing fingers, whose fault it is that something got cooked wrong. Ultimately, the person that suffers is the guest experience. And when that happens, ultimately the one that suffers is the ownership of that restaurant because that guest experience is so vital to increasing marketing, increasing number of visits and things like that. The second thing that Tabit does is it puts sales tools in the hands of the servers. Back in the day, the POS system sat in like a corner, kind of like the one that you see where it is, right over here over my shoulder. Where you walk up to a station and you touch on it. And Tabit has stations, and so that's great if you still need those. There are some reasons to have that. But for the most part, right, having every server with their own station in their apron, walking around is probably more valuable once you start understanding what to do, but also because they can use it at the Tableside as a sales tool. And I'll show you that here in a second as well. And then last but not least, there's a myriad of reasons why you would want to switch POS systems depending on what you have, especially if you have a legacy system. But it's going to drive additional sales for you by the way that we program it for you. So that's kind of like a bonus one for you that you want to think about. So let's just take a look. We've got the Tabit screen here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. I'm going to log myself out here real quick so that I could show you, how the Tabit screen logs in, and we'll just hit log out. And so what happens when you get here is you'll see, I'm going to click on Rick the Manager. Here's what you're going to find. You notice this right here? See how it's turning red? I am not the one who has the facial recognition for this profile. And what that means is that you won't be able to use the facial recognition if it's not your face. And so I'm going to just punch in my generic code that I've created for this demo, and that'll bring me in. But one of the things about facial recognition is gone are the days of manager cards. So if you think about operational efficiency and having to go find the manager, now if I'm a server, I can do whatever function I need to do. I can walk up, show it to the manager, put the manager's face in front of it, right? And he can approve whatever it is that I need. So, and you see the table layout. You should be able on the screen here to see my finger with a yellow dot. And so that's how I'll be able to make sure that you can see what I see or what I'm touching. As a manager, you can see all the different stuff that you can see at the top. Shift manager and operations won't be there for servers, but the other 4 tabs will. And so I want to just walk you through around this screen and go through the demo. You see the main screen. If I tap on it, you can see that I can switch to the bar. I can also switch to, the outside or whatever. Lots of different options as far as how we can create a table map. This works really well. Again, if you have a large floor plan and you have, say, multiple bars on property and you need things to print from these tables to this bar and from these tables to that bar and so on and so forth, or multiple levels, things like that, this really shines in those types of scenarios. Also tables, if you want to see the open tables in a list format instead of seeing it in a map format, you can do that. Tabs, this works great for the bartenders because we can, set it up to where this works for a station for the bartenders. And then 86 in notes. 86 in notes is going to work in that you could see things that have a limited number left. So in this case, we have coconut shrimp, and we'll get to that later. And then shift notes, things that are on special, or you want to put in that there's a meeting coming up, on Tuesday at 2:00 or whatever. All that works out. So let's go back to our patio. Let's open a table and show you how this really shines. So in this scenario, let's just say that I'm a server. I walk up Tableside and I'm going to present, the table or greet the table, and say, hey, my name's Ryan. I'll be your server today. Can I get you guys started off with something to drink or whatever it is that you guys have trained your staff to do? So let's say they want a Bud bottle. I'll just drag it over and then I'll come onto that seat. And now you'll notice in the bottom corner over here, there's a little per person average circle right there. If you notice that, see it? That's going to track that now there's $7 per person that's open. But if I open up number 2, you'll notice that drops down to 4 because it's tracking the number of guests, dividing it into the total of the check so that you can see that per person average. This works great for contests and things like that. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull over a platinum margarita. I have a decision to make. That's why there's an orange box there. I'm going to put it on the rocks. And then as I'm standing Tableside, I'm going to go ahead and send that to the bar. That's now working at the bar. And I, as the server, am still Tableside with my table. I haven't left, and those drinks are working. And in many cases, while I'm talking over appetizers, specials of the day, and all that kind of stuff, those drinks might show up if you have bar drink runners and things like that, might show up while I'm still standing there. So let's go to the starters. You'll notice that on the right-hand side here, this is my categories. Then you have your subcategories, and then you have your items over here. So I'm going to tap on the starters, and you notice that coconut shrimp that we mentioned, briefly a second ago in the 86 in notes. You'll see that I'm going to drag this over, and boom, it drops down from 15 to 14. That happens in real time on everybody's pad in the building, so that if there's 1 or 2 left and somebody grabs it and pulls it over onto a table, it will show on other people's pads so that nobody's, accidentally ordering something that you don't have available. Well, watch this. If I drag it back over, it bumps it back up to 15 and does that same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it over. This up top, that's the shared table. That'll come up, or the shared seat, we'll call it. That'll come up later when we split the check. And so I'm going to go ahead and just send that to the kitchen. And now appetizers working. Oh, look, the drinks are already arriving. Here's what's great about this. Because the drinks happen so quick, Tabit has seen an 8 to 15% increase in top line revenue because of the speed of service that happens because we're doing the orders Tableside. Because what used to happen is I would take your drinks and your appetizer orders, I'd walk over to a station right after writing it all down, right? Of course, hopefully your servers are writing it down. We know that many of them don't. They forget, and they have to do that walk of shame back from the POS station over to ask questions and things like that. But in this case, I've already sent it to the kitchen, and instead of going to a POS station and standing in line behind another server, now I'm in the position to just go to the next table, stay on the floor, and make more sales for the restaurant, right? Fill up drinks, get new rounds of drinks, and things like that. So let's move on to the entrees. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the entrees category. And as you notice, the second set right here is your sandwiches and your burgers. Whoops. Your sandwiches and your burgers, your steaks, your entrees and salads, pastas. And you'll notice that the way we've done this is we've color-coded things so that the server can see that, all these subcategories are in the entrees master category. And so let's just say I'm going to take a salad and I want to show, here, let me do this. Let's do something that we can show off. Well, so we'll tap on House Burger. Doesn't have a picture apparently, but it has there we go, double burger. All right, something with a picture on it. So you could see here that the picture is here, and I can swipe through, and I could show the pictures of different items so that if I'm Tableside and somebody wants to know about my special and I want to show them, hey, we've got a really awesome, special, whatever it is, double burger with bacon and this crazy sauce that the chef makes. And oh, by the way, this this particular entree pairs well. You can put your pairings, you can put your nutrition facts, you can put allergy information all right here in front of the server, and they can take it and they could show it to the guest so that they can use it as a sales tool, because the whole point here is to turn your servers into salespeople, to allow them to go and upsell things to the customer. So in this case, let's go to steaks. I'm going to drag a ribeye 12 ounce over to the first seat. You'll notice that the orange box right here around this is showing that there are things that have to be done, right? There are required options that have to be chosen. One of them is a decision about how do we want this steak cooked. We're going to say medium rare. And then you'll notice that there's still an orange box around the item. And then you'll notice over here on the right-hand side that there's still an orange dot over the entree sides. What's cool about this is it's showing the server exactly what they need to do so that it's very intuitive for them to use. In this case, it's because we need to do sides. I'm going to go ahead and pull over some broccoli and cheese, and I'm going to pull over some French fries. Now that disappears, tap on the item, it closes it up. And then the next thing that I can do is I will grab, let's say, I want to see that's the 9 ounce. That's the 12 ounce. That looks pretty good. It pairs well, looks like with Chateau St. John Merlot. So that's good. I should suggest that to go along with this. But I want to drag it over, and then you'll notice that there's options here that I can add on. This is an important feature because now your your server doesn't have to guess what should be upsold to this customer. Would you like to add some options I have here? Lobster tail, garlic butter, blue cheese crumble, jumbo lump crab cake, grilled shrimp, caramelized. Whatever your options would be, that's what we would put here. But you want to make sure you can upsell to these folks, right? So let's say we'll just drag in a lobster tail. We'll put this steak as a medium steak, and we're going to go ahead and drag in a house salad. And that house salad, it comes with ranch, but we're actually going to change that to French dressing. And then we're going to add in the two sides that we need here. And it looks like the lobster tail needs to be steamed, right? So you saw how there are some options that I didn't even know were on there that I was prompted as the server in this case, right? In this instance, to go ahead and finish. And so now I could take those, I'll send those to the kitchen, and those are working while I'm still here. They've got their drinks so early, and they finishing their appetizer up while I'm talking to them about their entrees, that now they need a refill on those drinks. So I just hit this reorder button in the corner. I'm going to say, you guys, you want another bud? You want another platinum margarita? Awesome. I go ahead and I send those off to the kitchen. Those are already working for them. That way they'll get their second round of drinks before they even get their entrees. The amount of time that this saves and the amount of speed it adds in bringing the service directly to the table cannot be overstated. Because your average drinks per table is, this is obviously like a national restaurant average, about 1.2 drinks per table or per person per table for adults, eating it in a restaurant. This increases it to like 2 to 3 drinks per person per table because now they're coming quicker and they're able to enjoy it more instead of having to wait so long for it. And you've sat at a table, you've waited for drinks, right? Nobody loves doing that. So, all right, we've finished here. I can come out. This was table 201. You see it in green there. I'm going to come back into it. Now the customer is ready to pay, but we need to split the check. We're familiar with this, right? One quick side note, just so you know, if you're a fine dining establishment, I didn't go through this because it does take a little bit longer to demonstrate, but there's a whole system of doing the holds and coursing, right? It's all right here on the table, and I can do that. Maybe we'll do a different demo. You can look for that on our page. But I want to come here and I want to show you that you can split the check right here, Tableside, very simply. So I tap here and I'm going to go, I could optimize and split. I can add new check, or I could split without optimization. But let's go ahead and just split without optimization. And I want to show you what it does. It automatically took the coconut shrimp and it split it half and half into the two seats because I had it, if you remember, over here on the shared seat, right? I have seat 1, I have seat 2, and then I have the shared seat. But now on the check split, it splits it up. I have a couple different ways I can do this. I can just pull it over and say, oh, you know what? Seat 1, he's actually going to take it. I can drag it, or I can drag it back, or wherever I want to keep it, I can just double tap on it and boom, it'll combine it back into one again. Also, he says, oh, you know what? I wanted to pay for one of his margaritas. It's his birthday. So I'm going to drag that over there. Very simple way to do this. I want you to imagine like the Red Hat ladies, or, a business lunch where there's a big table with a lot of different split checks. This system makes that so much easier because I make sure everything's right. And then I just go and I hit pay. Boom. We're going to pay out these in cash which you'll notice that they have a cash discount set up here on this particular demo. I can print it to wherever I need to, wherever the closest printer is. And then I go to the next one, I hit pay, and I do the same thing. I can pay with card or cash, however I want to do it. And once it's all paid, you'll notice that the close order button is available there. Now the order's closed. You'll see that on the map, it turns to gray if you're using the host software with it as well. This is good because you can hit clean table and it'll show, well, the busser can actually show that the table's clean. They can have it pad with them as well, and use it that way to let the host know that the table's clean. There's just, I could go on, but I'm not going to today. I just wanted you to see that this makes the operation more efficient. It puts sales tools in the hands of the servers, right? And it drives additional revenue by helping you just put the items in a place that make it better for the server to suggest upsells and things like that. So if you like this, I'll put a link in the description below in this video. You can contact us. We'll do a customized demo for you or for whoever it is that in your organization that needs to see it. We also do a payment processing review for whatever system you're looking at now. We can do a side-by-side comparison so that you can see, from a financial standpoint, what makes the most sense. And other than that, man, I'll tell you what, reach out to us because we have not just Tabit, but we have other systems as well. So if let's say that you're not, in this category of a large floor plan with a lot of tables and a lot of servers, maybe multiple bars and things like that, maybe Tabit's not the right fit for you. Maybe you just need something for, a quick service station or something like that. We can help you with that as well. But again, click the link in the description and we'll get you started on a demo, and that way you can make a decision as to what you want to do. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next one.